There are two dents here in the stone, and people have been arguing about what or who made them for as long as anyone can remember. This is Arthur's stone, nearly 6,000 years old, sitting on a ridge in Herefordshire, and possibly one of the strangest places I've ever visited. Hello everyone, and if it is the first time you stumbled upon my channel, hi, my name is Sam, and I walk to dark, historical and mysterious and spooky places. Yeah, that kind of pretty much covers it. Today we're going into what Arthur's stone actually is, what people have believed about it, what archaeologists have just only started to find, and of course the ghost story that is attached to it. This area is desolate and it has a little bit of atmosphere even with the sunshine. Today we're in Herefordshire, England, in a valley called the Golden Valley, which is quite apt considering the beauty of this place. The Golden Valley runs along the border between England and Wales, and the monument we're heading to sits up on that ridgeline, which you can just about make out from here. Its builders put the monument there deliberately, not for convenience, but because it could be seen from miles around. Now, when you're on top of the ridge, you have the Golden Valley on one side and the Wye Valley on the other. It was a landmark in the original sense of the word. It was something that told you exactly what this place was. People have been walking this path for roughly 6,000 years. The same route, more or less, to the same stones. There it is, Arthur's stone. What we're looking at now is not the original structure. That's not how it looked like 6,000 years ago. Yeah, you were supposed to go in. Sometimes I wonder what's going to happen if this thing collapses right on top of me. Oh, yikes. Oh, look. There's a crack there. Better get out. Ow! When this was built, it would have been a massive earthen mound, similar in scale to West Kennet Long Barrow in Wiltshire, if you've ever been there, just to give you an idea. So we go from here across what is the path now and end up in the other field. Thousands of years of exposure, like wind and rain, which here happens a lot, stripped all of that away and left it with what you can see now. And what we're looking at isn't even the original structure. The evidence suggests that Arthur's stone began as a dolmen, you know, just a single tomb, very simple, and that it was rebuilt and later incorporated into a larger cairn as part of a tradition known as the Cotswold Severn group. It was modified, expanded, deliberately reworked, which raises the question why and by whom. Archaeologists date to the earliest phase around 3700 BC, more than 1,000 years before the main phase of Stonehenge. We are talking about Neolithic Britain, farming communities, the first group of people that started settling instead of moving from place to place, to claim land, to bury the dead in one fixed place and returning to them. So Arthur's stone is classified as a chambered tomb. The entrance ran through a right-angle passage into the inner chamber where ancestral bones were placed. But these weren't only burial sites, there were gathering places as well. This is something that we come across other times, for example with the Etruscans, a place where the worlds of the living and the dead were deliberately brought together. It was kind of the equivalent of a cathedral. And Arthurstone was not standing alone. It was part of a much larger complex. On Dorstone Hill, which is over there, digs have uncovered what's called the Halls of the Dead. Such a fascinating name, isn't it? This was an entire area given to the dead. And archaeologists are still finding things. It's not over yet. Now, that's the history. And then there's the legends. The name kind of gives it away. That connection goes back at least from the 13th century, if not before that. How does a Neolithic place like this one, that predates the King Arthur stories by thousands of years, end up carrying his name? Well, no one knows for sure. The most persistent legend says that Arthur fought a giant and killed him on this very spot. And as the giant fell, his elbows struck the stone and left these two dents that you can still see today. The other legend, still connected to King Arthur, is that these marks have been made by Arthur kneeling in prayer after defeating the giant. Now, I don't know how much Arthur was weighing, to be honest. Anyway, we have two stories, one of violence and one of devotion, which is actually quite poetic. And the ghost accounts go further. Now, local folklore describes a figure that looks like a knight in shiny armor that emerges from under the capstone on a full moon night and stands in front of the tomb protecting it. And some say that it's King Arthur. Now, I have a little anecdote for you and I'm going to share it at the end of this video. In all the traditions, women would crawl under the monument in moonlight, kind of like folk magic, to see if their lovers were faithful. And this apparently has been carried over into the modern era. Now, I came across an interesting article by folklorist Rees about Arthurian legends that have been attached to ancient locations, especially in this part of England, like King Arthur's Cave, which is not too far from here. Apparitions, ritual visits, we have the same image again and again. And there's one last connection. Many believe that Arthur's stone was the model for the stone table in the Chronicles of Narnia, the great flat slab where Aslan is sacrificed and where he returns. C.S. Lewis knew this part of England. He spent time here. And looking at this stone, a place that has been associated with death and what follows for 6,000 years, it's not really that difficult to imagine. Now, before I sign off, I have a little anecdote for you. So I came here 3 times to shoot this video, which is unbelievable. Now, the first time my Insta360 didn't record at all. It was working because I double checked and I got home and I had nothing. It was very rainy anyway, so I could not shoot. So I came another weekend and my external microphone stopped working. The battery was full. I checked when I got home. There was nothing wrong with it, but the microphone completely shut down. Hence the 2 microphones today. I lost all the audio, and because it was very windy, I could not use that footage. Now, something interesting about the second time is that I didn't realize that it was a full moon. And there were people here waiting to see if King Arthur or the figure would come out of the monument, which is quite funny. Now, before I go, I did do a little investigation while I was there. If you want to find out what I found, just continue watching. And if not, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give us a thumb up. And I shall see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye. I'm really curious to see if there is any electromagnetic stuff going on here. I started off with a K2 meter just to check for any electromagnetic field activity, especially around the area where the archaeological digs took place. If there's anyone here with me, can you please touch this box so that I know that you're here? There is definitely something that is interfering with my equipment, even if EMF doesn't give anything. Okay. I tried again closer to Arthurstone itself. Makes me a little nervous doing stuff like this here. Okay, we're getting under. If anyone is here with me, could you please touch this box? Still nothing. I kept it running throughout the whole investigation, just in case, but it stayed flat the entire time. It has lights that they turn on and off if you interact with it. Would you like to let me know if you're here? Now I have the spirit box on. If anyone is here with me, can you please talk through this box? You can choose the words from the waves, if you can speak English. Maybe not. Hello? Is anyone here? It was completely dead, not a thing came through, which is really unusual. I'm going to try one last thing. I'm going to check with the SLS and see with the necro thingy if any voice comes through, which is really strange. That actually picks up voices. I guess that's just a stone, but he comes and goes. And it did pick something up, however, I'm genuinely not sure whether what the app was recording was spirits or whether it was just mapping onto the stones themselves. Like there's something here. It doesn't pick up any other stone. I can't tell, maybe one of you knows. It could be nothing. Let's go to the other side. At some point, I did ask whatever was there to raise his hand, and it looks like he did, but it might just be a coincidence, right? What do you think, guys? Is that King Arthur? Can you lift up your arm? I don't think it's actually anything. What do you think? Is it picking up the stones? Hello? And last I tried the Necrophonic app to see if anything would come through that way. I got some voices, but nothing clear enough to make it out. Okay, please speak clearly. I can hear your voice, but you need to speak clearly, please. Do you really have King Arthur here? The gimbal is the only thing that misbehaved a little bit, but just a little. Oh, look, this is moving on its own. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give us a thumb up, and I shall see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye!